What's going on, guys? So if you've ever been to a large concert, maybe an amusement park, or if you're just a big old pyromaniac like myself, you've probably come across these cool flame projectors. In most places, you don't even need a license to use these, and you can just pretty much get them online. Now, although these commercially available machines have cool DMX features and can be tweaked and played around with, I was never able to find a machine that could really create massive flames. At least not machines I could afford. Ever. So, as per usual on this channel, I decided to go ahead and make my own. So there are basically two types of flame projectors, liquid and gas. Liquid projectors send a thin jet of flammable liquid into the air thanks to a high pressure pump. Gas projectors just use small butane propane canisters and release the pressurized gas thanks to a solenoid valve. Once the liquid or gas mixes with the surrounding oxygen in the air, a high voltage arc ignites the mixture, creating a lovely flame. As a starting point, I picked up a small butane tank for around 60 bucks. These can be refilled for around 20. Now, I actually would have preferred propane, as I believe propane creates brighter flames, but they only seem to sell propane in these massive tanks, which is not very convenient. These particular tanks came with a flow limiting adapter. So the first test was fairly straightforward. I opened the valve and using a blowtorch, I ignited the gas. And by the way, let me just get this out of the way before anyone starts freaking out in the comment section. Butane needs to mix with oxygen in order to combust. There is absolutely no oxygen inside the tank, so there is no risk of the flame creeping past the valve and blowing up the tank. And although this does happen in cartoons, in real life, it just won't happen. But anyway, so although I definitely got a nice flame, the result was quite underwhelming, but more about that later. To automatically open and close the gas flow, I added an old solenoid valve. This one is designed for compressed air, but works just fine for butane as it can handle up to 7 bar. To try and increase the length of the flame, I experimented with different nozzles. The thought was that by decreasing the diameter of the nozzle, the gas would accelerate and reach a larger distance, but this didn't really make much of a difference. If anything, it made it difficult for the gas to mix with the surrounding oxygen, which would cause the flame to extinguish by itself. Of course, the biggest issue here is the flow regulator. And the ones that came with the tanks happened to limit the flow to 1.3 kilograms of butane per hour, which is great for gas-powered barbecues, but terrible for flame machines. So I headed over to the hardware store and picked up one of these. This is simply a valve with a quick release mechanism. I then performed the same test as before. Although the flame was significantly bigger, it was still nowhere close to the massive flames from the pits of hell I was trying to replicate. So what could I do? You see, the butane inside these tanks is actually in liquid form. The liquid butane is able to partially evaporate and fill the empty space inside the tank, and at room temperature maintain a pressure of around 2 bar. Once gas is allowed to escape through the top, the pressure inside the tank plummets, enabling more butane to evaporate until the vapor pressure of butane is reached. To get a stronger jet of gas, we could increase its vapor pressure by raising the temperature inside the tank. If you look at this graph, you will see that by heating up the gas to 50 degrees, we get a vapor pressure of around 5 bar. Obviously, this would be a terrible idea, simply because these butane tanks are not designed to handle these higher pressures and will definitely explode. So what if, instead of tapping into the gas inside the tank, what if we directly tapped into the liquid by flipping the tank upside down? Well, that's the approach I went with. The back pressure of the gas acts like a piston and pushes the liquid out of the nozzle. We then get a nice dense mist of liquid butane. Like we saw before, at room temperature, butane immediately evaporates, creating a huge cloud of butane gas. This mixes with the oxygen in the air and becomes an extremely flammable mix. Interestingly, converting high-pressure liquid into a low-pressure gas comes with a side effect. It absorbs energy, causing the surroundings to instantly freeze. And this is exactly how refrigerators work. I'll have to keep this in mind going forward, as this could become an issue. Using copper tubing and some brass fittings, I had the jet of butane aimed towards the sky and away from the tank itself to prevent it from getting too hot. The tubing also acts as an accumulator tank. You see, this allows liquid butane to be stored inside of it, build up pressure, and be immediately released into one big burst through the solenoid without having to, squeeze past the tank's nozzle. As you can see, we get a really nice jet of liquid butane. And of course, once we add an ignition source to the mix,
a much bigger flame than I had originally anticipated.
And by the way, now's probably a good time to remind you that this is not a tutorial. If that flame gets blasted into someone's face, it would be really bad news. So just enjoy watching me do stupid shit on YouTube so you don't have to.
However, I noticed something quite annoying. Once the initial burst from the butane stored inside the tube was gone, the remaining flame was still much smaller than I would have liked.
So it turns out that these particular butane tanks unfortunately have a flow limiter built inside of them.
But luckily I came up with a cheeky hack to bypass this limiter. You see, I noticed that if I gently press the tip of the nozzle inside the tank, it releases a gentle stream of gas, and this is what this small tip does on the adapter. However, if I press down on it with a lot more weight, I get a much more aggressive release of gas. So to make sure the nozzle is being firmly pressed down, I simply dropped in a small stainless BB from an old bearing. And although now it took a lot more force to clamp on the adapter, the tank was able to release a constant, much stronger jet of gas. And this seemed to completely solve the issue. I got a nice initial burst and then a really hot and aggressive flame that could basically just keep going until the tank ran out of butane. Wonderful!
The final step was to find a convenient ignition source.
The easiest way to ignite butane gas is to use an electric arc. This is how most modern lighters work. For the flame machine, the arc should be about half an inch long to make sure the gas ignites reliably. Although this sounds simple in theory, in reality to create an arc that's half an inch long, we need a peak output voltage of around 30 kilovolts. And that's a lot of volts. And I talk about high voltage arcs in more detail in my stun gun video, so check out the link in the description for more info about that. And there are many high voltage modules online, but most of them require a low voltage input, say 12 volts or less. Plus these have a tendency to overheat and die if they run for too long. And because I didn't want to bother with a power supply, I went with this neon transformer. These can generate really hot arcs and are designed to run all day long. The only issue with these is that they output continuous AC, meaning that the arc is very low current and is very vulnerable to external elements. A generator with high voltage, high current pulses, similar to a stun gun, would have been much better for this, but you know, this is good enough for now. At first, I placed the arc directly above the jet. I noticed that it was very difficult to ignite the butane, and this is because at the exit of the nozzle, the butane hadn't had time to mix with the surrounding oxygen, making it completely non-flammable. The solution was simply to move the arc high above the nozzle and to slightly move it back. Just giving the gas time to mix with the air. Another issue I ran into was that the flame is so hot that it would just instantly toast the ignition wires. So I made an extension using stainless rods and a 3D printed holder. That way the heat wouldn't be able to reach the plastic components. I'm actually not a huge fan of this design, and I'll explain why later in the video. You know what's better than one flame machine? 3 flame machines. So after a few more hours of cutting and grinding and welding, I had 3 flame projectors ready to go. Time to test these things out. I took them to a very legal rave in the middle of nowhere. It was pretty cold out, so I decided to, heat up the place a little. I would give off a few bursts of flames every hour or so, and to my surprise, these small tanks held enough butane to last the entire weekend. And to show off my new contraption to the neighbours for Halloween, I couldn't resist setting up 2 of these behind the front gate. Once the kids got close enough to grab candy from the basket, I would remind them why you shouldn't follow instructions painted on a piece of wood late at night. And unfortunately, I was having so much fun giving kids PTSD that I completely forgot to record their reactions, but trust me, it was very effective. So there it is. I'm really pleased with these, and I will definitely be using them for special effects in the future. There are a few things I would like to improve. Firstly, like I mentioned before, I don't really like these flimsy rods as they can easily get bent during transport. Also, I later realized that the arc was still way too close to the jet, which resulted in a few misfires. I'll be sure to move them further back in the future.
Also, for those of you who aren't aware, I actually have a second channel called Nicky Animations. I'm a huge fan of the show Happy Tree Friends, in which cute and cuddly characters meet absolutely horrible demises. And I used to make a bunch of fan animations, but lately I was fortunate enough to partner up with Mondo Media, who own the original IP, and they'll be uploading a bunch of my stuff on their official channel, which is pretty much a dream come true. So check out Mondo Media, check out my animation channel, and I'll leave all the relevant links in the video description. As always, thank you very much for watching, stay safe, and I will see you next time.